On a sunny morning in Orlando, Florida, in July 2008, the world was about to be shaken by a case that would grip the nation. Police received a frantic call from Caylee Anthony, a grandmother reporting that her 2-year-old granddaughter, Caylee Anthony, had been missing for 31 days. What followed would become one of the most infamous cases in modern American history. Authorities immediately sprang into action. Detective Joe Scalise, one of the lead investigators, described the scene at the Anthony residence as chaotic and unsettling. Caylee's mother, Caylee Anthony, had failed to report her daughter missing for over a month. The community was horrified. How could a mother let her toddler vanish without alerting anyone? Caylee Marie Anthony was just 2 years old, a bright and bubbly child who loved playing with her dolls and spending time with her family. Her family described her as full of life, a child who could light up any room with her smile. But her short life was filled with tragedy. Her father, George Anthony, had a troubled relationship with Caylee, and tensions in the household were high. Despite this, everyone agreed that Caylee deserved safety, love, and care. Her disappearance left a void in the hearts of her family and the entire Orlando community. People couldn't understand how a child could simply vanish. At the center of the investigation was Caylee Anthony, a 22-year-old woman whose behavior would shock the world. Initially, she told police that Caylee had been kidnapped by a nanny named Zenaida, a story that quickly fell apart under scrutiny. Neighbors reported seeing Caylee partying, drinking, and living a carefree lifestyle during the month her daughter was missing. Images surfaced of her enjoying social events, going to nightclubs, and even tanning under the Florida sun while authorities searched desperately for her child. Caylee's actions raised a haunting question. How could a mother ignore her missing child for an entire month? The case took a dark turn in December 2008. Human remains were discovered in a wooded area near the Anthony family home. Forensic tests confirmed the worst. It was Caylee. The autopsy revealed that she had died by asphyxiation, but the exact circumstances of her death remained unclear. There were no clear signs of struggle or abuse prior to her death. Authorities faced a chilling mystery. Was her death accidental, or was it deliberate? Investigators noticed disturbing evidence. Caylee's remains were wrapped in a blanket, and duct tape was found nearby, suggesting foul play. The discovery ignited national outrage. How could anyone, let alone a parent, harm a 2-year-old child? The investigation became a media spectacle. Every move of Caylee Anthony was scrutinized. Surveillance footage, phone records, and financial transactions were analyzed. Prosecutors painted a grim picture. Caylee allegedly murdered her daughter to free herself from parental responsibility and live a life of freedom and indulgence. One piece of evidence shocked the nation. Investigators discovered traces of chloroform in the Anthony home. The prosecution argued that Caylee had used it to knock out her daughter, suggesting premeditation. However, the defense countered fiercely. They claimed Caylee's death was accidental, possibly caused by drowning in the family pool, and that Caylee panicked. They argued there was no physical evidence linking her directly to murder. The courtroom became a battleground for public opinion. Was Caylee a heartless killer or a mother who made a tragic mistake? The trial of Caylee Anthony began in May 2011 and captivated millions of viewers. Prosecutors relied on circumstantial evidence, internet searches for chloroform, behavior after Caylee's disappearance, and the presence of duct tape near the remains. The defense portrayed Caylee as a neglected young woman under immense family pressure, struggling with personal issues and unable to cope with motherhood. They emphasized the lack of direct forensic evidence tying her to the death. One of the most shocking moments came when the prosecution revealed Caylee's last moments, reconstructed through witness testimonies, internet searches, and phone records. The public was left asking, could someone really do this to their own child? On July 5, 2011, the jury delivered its verdict. Caylee Anthony was acquitted of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter. She was, however, found guilty of 4 counts of providing false information to law enforcement. The verdict sparked nationwide outrage. Thousands protested outside the courthouse. Internet forums exploded with anger. People couldn't comprehend how a mother could be acquitted after what seemed like overwhelming circumstantial evidence. The case remains controversial to this day. Some believe Caylee Anthony got away with murder. Others argue the prosecution's case was too weak to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Following her acquittal, Caylee Anthony disappeared from the public eye, living a quiet life under intense media scrutiny. Meanwhile, Caylee's memory remains a haunting reminder of a tragedy that captured the world's attention. The case changed the way the public and media viewed child deaths. It sparked debates about parental responsibility, media ethics, and the justice system. True crime enthusiasts continue to study the case, analyzing evidence, timelines, and interviews. Even today, over a decade later, the Caylee Anthony case remains one of the most perplexing and heart-wrenching crimes in American history, a story of loss, mystery, and unanswered questions. As the years pass, the questions remain: who was responsible? Could it have been prevented? And will the truth ever be fully known? The Caylee Anthony case is more than a story of crime. It is a chilling reflection of human behavior, societal obsession, and the devastating consequences of negligence.